Hello. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Really excited about tonight. It's for the first annual or inaugural, whatever you would like, Cannabis Gives Back Telethon. Super excited about it, as you saw in the intro. This is going to help out the Michigan Cannabis Freedom Coalition, Sons and Daughters United, the Redemption Foundation, and also the Great Lakes Expungement Network. And we're going to have representatives of each of those foundations on the show during it. And we're going to have special guests, a lot of great donations. Glad to announce we're over our $20,000 goal, and all the slots are taken, and just a huge success. So thank you, everybody that participated. And this is really the brainchild of the marketing director over here at Redemption, Nate Darling, put this together, and the idea was to get four of the top Michigan cannabis podcasts, the Smokin Rope Podcast, Jazz Cabbage Cafe, Planet Green Trees, and the MICIA Cannacast all together, and raise money for a great cause, giving back to the cannabis people who are affected by the prohibition. So with that, I am going to introduce everyone based on how long I've known them. So I figured that was a fair way. So with Jazz Cabbage Cafe, we got Rick Thompson. And then with Jazz Cabbage Cafe, we got Jamie Lowell. With Planet Green Trees, Michael Camorn. With the Smokin Rope Podcast, Kevin Pybus. And also the Smokin Rope Podcast, Tom Beller. And of course, the Michigan Cannacast with Ida Pearl Lee. And what I'm going to do is give each one of these guys and gals a quick minute to say hello, and we'll get into our first guest after that. So Rick, take it away.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Rick Thompson. I'm so pleased to be here for this inaugural event. $20,000 is a lot of money to raise, and I know we have the potential to do even better than that, too. So congratulations to everyone involved. I'm currently the executive director of the Normal of Michigan chapter, as well as on the Redemption Foundation and on the John Sinclair Foundation, too. I work with the Michigan Cannabis Freedom Coalition. I'm the 5th Congressional District Representative at the Cannabis Caucus of the Michigan Democratic Party. Exactly. I sometimes I forget who I am, actually. But of course, I'm involved in Jazz Cabbage Cafe, but also 420 Post, which is a business-centric podcast. And I appear on television each week on the Roku network for pro-cannabis media with the Weed Talk News, as I'm the Michigan correspondent.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Rick. Jamie?
Yeah, well, as the director of advocacy and social equity at the Botanical Company, Lansing-based retailer, we work very heavily with all of these organizations that stand to benefit tonight. And so I'm very happy and know that they do great work very well and close up. And it's very exciting and an honor to be here to participate in helping out these great organizations, because I know they're going to turn this into a lot of great work for people.
Thank you, Jamie. Michael Camorn, excited to have the original podfather of cannabis in Michigan here. Michael.
Appreciate that, Ryan. And as you know, I respect you and the Redemption brand and what you've done with it. I've known you for a long time. Your journey is a fascinating story, and I love what you're doing. And there are a lot of people, unfortunately, left behind because of cannabis prohibition. And there's a lot of groups that talk the talk, but you're the only one that I know that's really risen to the top of the group in leading the way for redeeming those that have been punished and penalized because of cannabis. So you know that whenever you call and need something, I'm going to be there for you, because I respect you and I love what you're doing. And I'm glad to be part of this event.
Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate it. And looking forward to actually asking you a question later on the show. So With that, we got Kevin Pybus with True Cannabis and Smokin Rope Podcast.
What's up, guys? I want to welcome everybody that's watching the telethon today. I think it's incredibly amazing that we get to be a part of something like this and give back to people that have been negatively affected by the war on drugs. I always told my mom when I was younger, one of these days we're gonna get this changed, and we were able to call her a few years back and tell her that we actually were able to get marijuana legalized, and now we're actually being able to right the wrongs of the past. I'm incredibly proud to be a part of that. I'm also very grateful that I've also been able to utilize the Great Lakes Expungement Network and get some of my misdemeanors marijuana charges removed from my my criminal history. So I'm a big supporter. I'm super proud to be a part of this, Ryan.
Thank you, Kevin. Thanks for participating and sponsoring. The same with Tom over at Real Leaf. Tom,
What's going on?
Smokin Rope as well.
Yeah, man. Ryan, from the first time I met you years ago, I really, your story really took me, and, we hit it off pretty well, and we've been, good friends ever since. And when we started talking about the Redemption brand, we immediately jumped on board. We're proud to be a part of the family. And what we've been doing is bringing some of our pheno hunts on new strains that we're thinking about bringing to market and releasing them under special releases, under the Redemption brand, under a new type of, new strategy, just to kind of test the market and see how people like things. And it's something other people aren't really thinking about. And one thing, you've always been a big pioneer on thinking towards cannabis policy. You've always been right in the front. You're not afraid to put yourself out there, and it's been an honor to know you. So, and we're super happy to be here tonight.
Well, thank you. That's awesome. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. And the first pheno hunt we did, it was with the Apex, and that went over great. And there's rumors that that's close to coming back. So. Yep. Thanks for believing in me, and even way back when you're the first person that believed in me as a consultant too. So my first client, and that worked out pretty well for both of us. So that's awesome.
That's which is cool. So.
Yeah.
So I'm already winning.
Nice. Oh, and last but not least, Ida Pearl Lee. With the MICIA, the deputy director, and runs the. The Michigan Cannacast or the MICA Cannacast, and it's an awesome. All four of our shows are different, but Ida doesn't need too much of an introduction. She's been on the Smokin Rope a couple times and was one of the main reasons we have medical and legal cannabis regulated market. So Ida, go take it away.
Wow, thank you for that introduction, Ryan, and thank you for having me be a part of this. This is so exciting. This is the first ever, and to already have this large of a draw, it's incredible, and it's amazing, and congratulations. But for me, I am the deputy director at the Michigan Cannabis Industry Association, and before I made that transition, my daughter was a patient, and we fought for the MMFLA to be passed. And it was because of her story. And so, cannabis is a medicine, and it's something that I fight for every day. And I love, our community. It's a close-knit community, and we all are there to support each other and take care of each other. And I love that. And thank you for including me.
Yeah, we're really, really glad you were able to come on. And we are nearing up our first guest and our first sponsor. And how we're going to do this, everyone, is take about 5 minutes, and the wonderful people that donated all this money are going to get a chance to come on and talk about whatever they want. But it's going to be a lot of the top and most active industry people. So with that, we're going to have our first guest. And we have Shelley Smith.
Hello.
At Cambium Analytica. And Shelley, thank you for being on, and thank you for being so generous with the sponsorship. And first met you up at the MICIA Summer Annuals, and we're proud that most of the testing that we do at Driven with my partnership goes to you guys. So go right ahead, tell us about yourself.
Awesome. Yeah, well, thank you for having us. It's so good to be here. Thanks for putting on this telethon. We've been in business for about 2 years now, which, as we all know, goes by at lightning speed in this industry. Feels like 3 months. So we've been members of the MICIA and big fans of RL Solutions and Driven Grow, and the whole team listens to the Smokin Rope Podcast all the time, which keeps us really informed on the state of the industry. And when we saw this telethon opportunity, we knew we had to jump on because we haven't yet supported the Redemption Foundation, so the charity. So we knew that we had to take this opportunity. We're also so very aware that we are successful due to those who have been treading waters in this industry before us for decades. We know we wouldn't be here without their work and their passion for this plant. And we definitely know that anyone who's in prison or incarcerated this right now due to nonviolent cannabis crimes need to be out ASAP. So we're happy to be on board and supporting this, and we're hoping to continue this partnership moving forward.
Thanks a lot.
And I don't know. If you wanted me to talk more about testing, I'm happy to do so as well.
I would like to hear more about like how your company came to be. You're in Traverse City. Just a little bit more about the makeup and about the business, and then we could definitely talk about how the whole testing last few months has gone for you guys.
Yeah. So we are mostly all Traverse City natives that started this company. We're fortunate. We live in such a beautiful place. We bring in people from all over the country, scientists, biochemists, all sorts of people, microbiologists from all over the country. It was 4 founders that started it. I am one of those founders. We started in a room with no windows, just this idea, and we've come really far. This industry goes, like I said, the speed of lightning. So it's every day is an adventure. I often say you have to come to work and you hold on for dear life and get through it. So yeah, it's been fun. The last couple of months have been interesting as well. They've been busy to say the least. I think we've all learned a lot from what's taken place over the past month or so. But we wish no ill on anyone. So it's unfortunate that it's affected so many people in a negative way. Yeah.
Shelley, one thing I noticed when I first met George and Alex years ago is that they shared their vision with the Kalkaska cannabis community right at the very early stages of this whole thing when we were all kind of figuring it out. And the reason why we work with you guys in the first place is that they discuss things beyond just compliance type testing and working towards having more robust, options as a cultivator to have things above and beyond what is required by law, but will help us, as a company be, more efficient and everything, having a wider variety of testing available. Can you speak to like what you guys have planned in the future for processors or grows as far as like because we were discussing, petiole testing and soil samples, and we've worked with you guys for years now. And I'm just curious to hear a little bit more about just beyond compliance, what you guys are working on.
Yeah, I can't speak too much about our future plans, but our founding goal is always to be a problem solver and just to be an extension of our clients' team and to get to the root cause of any issues that they're having so that they can essentially put the best products on the market that they possibly can. So if that, involves us digging deep into specific failures that they're having or end goals that they want with certain results, we want to make sure that we're doing it the right way and we're getting to the bottom of the reason why things maybe aren't performing the way they are or fixing the problem at the root cause. So as far as what's coming down the pipeline, though, yeah, a lot's going to change, and you guys will hear about it a little bit more. But I can't say anything else.
Well, thank you, Shelley. Thank you for being the first guest ever on the telethon, and shout out to you guys for being the largest donor too. So we really appreciate it.
For sure. Yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow probably. Mm-hmm. Holiday party, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much for having us on.
You got it. Thank you.
Hey, Chad.
All right. We got Superior Selections on. Really excited about our relationship with Superior ever since you guys reached out to the podcast and wanted to be on, and we'd already heard about you as far as a flower brand making a name for themselves, and now we're learning about all the community work that you're doing, and thank you so much for promoting this and for donating. So introduce yourselves and the company.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for having us. We're really happy we reached out. We've been a fan of the podcast for a bit before that, and definitely knew that you guys were a group that we wanted to get connected with. So I'm Allison Farley. I am the office manager and the marketing director for Superior Selections.
And I'm Sam Bowen. I'm the operations director. And before we get started here, I just want to do a quick shout out to Cambium. We've been working with them from the start. And, Shelley and Ansel, David Truax, they're all true professionals if there ever was one. So quick shout out to Cambium. And then to everybody else, I just really want to start by saying thank you to everyone. This is really inspiring and ambitious work that everyone here is trying to accomplish. And I know it takes a lot, but man, it's really inspiring. So we're proud of everyone, and we're happy to be a part of this. So here we go. We are Superior Selections, Upper Michigan's first premier cannabis brand. Our mission is to produce the highest standard of medical and adult use cannabis in the country, with an emphasis on consumer education and on the importance of cultivating pesticide-free, clean, quality crops. Ultimately, we want to create and inform every consumer on the details of what products they are consuming and exactly what to look for when picking the perfect cannabis strain for your individual needs.
Nice. Yeah, so being involved with the community has really done some amazing things for us lately. I actually just jumped on board over the past 4 months here, and it has been an absolute whirlwind, the amount that we've been able to give back, whether it has been community pickup, outreaches, and whatnot, giving back to fantastic organizations like Redemption. We are just so happy to be able to build that connection. And honestly, it's our responsibility as a member of the cannabis community, whether it's Michigan or wherever it is you are at, to really spotlight the people who got us to where we are. Cambium mentioned that very briefly, and I totally agree 100%. We couldn't do this without you guys paving the way. And as someone who is newer to cannabis over the past 5 years, I'm very incredibly thankful for everything that you guys have done. So excited to be on here. We've got some teas headed your way as well. So be on the lookout for those. And feel free to give them back to anybody who's been supporting Redemption, because you guys are doing some really amazing things here, along with all the other organizations you're paired with for the telethon.
And I see everyone smoking a bowl or doing a joint here. Me and Allison are still holding it down at work. Granted, we're on the Central Time, so no big deal, really.
Hey guys, this is Kevin over at True Cannabis. I just wanted to say the last time we had you guys on, we had such a great time. Your guys' integrity and honesty just shines through. I can tell you guys are great people, and we really appreciate your donation, coming on the show and being a part of this, and what you guys give back to the community. It's really commendable, and we appreciate you guys representing our industry the right way. So thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
We appreciate it. Yeah, awesome. Excited about Superior Selections flower. And our next guest, Roy Liskey over at Local Roots in Lanesburg. Roy's been on the Smokin Rope as well, and I met Roy at MICIA. Well, actually at the legalization back at the Radisson. Yeah, and then we started going out to Soup Spoon, and I used to live in Lanesburg, knew a lot of the same people, and I'm super excited for the relationship Redemption's got up at Local Roots and everything we're doing together. So, Roy, tell us about yourself and your company.
All right. Well, yeah, my name's Roy. My mom's name is Rhonda. Her and I started Local Roots. We opened back in April, and she's a former caregiver, so we've got that background. She's been growing since about 2010, and so yeah, and we're just thrilled to have this store and to be here in our hometown selling weed. So I thought I'd give you a quick little tour and talk about a couple things we've got going on, if that's all right.
Do it.
All right. So we've got a bunch of special pieces on the wall. This one here is a Local Roots stained glass piece my Uncle Steve made. We've got my mom does raku pottery. So we've got some of her art pieces on the wall. We just got a bunch of new apparel in. I'm not sure if you can see down there. We're all decked out for the holidays right now.
Nice.
All right. And
live into a dispensary. All right.
Yep. Say hi to the staff.
What's up?
Let's see. We've got gift baskets we're doing. So we've got a little redemption gift basket.
Nice.
We'll wrap it up for you too in these nice wrapping. Get a Christmas tree ready. I also wanted to mention we've got the redemption punch card promotion going on over here. If you get 12 punches, you get a little goodie bag. So come on down here. We've got 25% off redemption products all month. And we're really just so appreciative of everything the Redemption Foundation does. We're excited to be a part of it, but we're also very thankful for everything Redemption Cannabis does for us as far as providing us with a variety of awesome products from some of the best growers throughout the state. And they've really just been such a great ally to us, and I can't thank you guys enough.
Well, thank you, Roy. It's been awesome. Now you guys are the true definition of mom and pop, and you got people on the show with us right now. A lot of these hosts that they worked really hard on legalization for some well over decades, and that was you getting a business is what I was fighting for, that type of thing. So Kevin's got a question real quick.
No, I just wanted to say, Roy, congratulations on winning the best dispensary in the greater Lansing area on the City Pulse thing. I think that was awesome. When I heard that, dude, I couldn't have been more excited for you guys. So I just wanted to say congratulations, and I wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hope you guys all stay safe, okay?
Yeah, thanks so much, Kevin.
And one thing that we got going on with in the spring, I don't know if we announced it yet or not, but we're going to be teaming up with the Local Roots crew and Roy and his family, and we're going to have a big fundraiser, and it's going to be a special party and with music, and excited about that. So there's going to be a lot more fundraisers and a lot of the same people that are supporting us. What's been the attitude of the small town, Roy? Langsberg, like I said, I lived there for 8 years. I went to a lot of parties. I integrated myself well, and it's just like you're selling in it. I'm excited to be selling in it too. I had the cops called on me 9 times in 2 years at one time at the lake. So
yeah, it's been really great so far. There's been no picketers outside or even really any effort to not have one, I guess. Through the whole application process, I mean, the council members were supportive, the people in the community were supportive, and yeah, I mean, it's really crazy too. I got in a little trouble in my younger years. I had a marijuana possession charge, and yeah, it was like, the small town, word travels fast, and there was definitely a strong stigma when I was growing up here, and it seems to be washing away. So we're happy to help that process along.
Thank you, Roy. Thanks for the support as always, and man, thanks for the donation, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, man.
Amen.
All right. And our first special guest to come talk about the work that we're doing. Everybody knows Josie Scoggin from Sons and Daughters United, but also Great Lakes Expungement Network. She's really, the engine behind that, and lets me take credit. So I really appreciate that, Josie. And so with that, Josie, tell us a little bit about yourself. We got 10 minutes. And tell us what we're doing, and we got a bunch of the same people you've known forever here to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on. I'm so excited about the first inaugural. Look at us, we got the holiday season going full swing.
Nice.
But I'm so excited about the first inaugural Cannabis Gives Back. Sons and Daughters United is something that's been really close to my heart. It's something that I built from the ground when I was 18 years old. This idea and it's really evolved over the years, but the idea that people have a right to better themselves, and incarceration and things like incarceration and disabilities really limit that. Recently, we launched the Great Lakes Expungement Network. Myself, Ryan, Josh Covert, Jamie Lowell. We've got some really good teammates out there. We've got a really good team in South Detroit where we've got Paul Tylinda doing free criminal record expungements all day long. We knew that there was a need, obviously, for people to expunge their records, but we never really understood how great that need would be. In our first 5 days, we saw over 300 applications from people who have a variety of issues, but primarily cannabis charges. We run 2 different programs at the Great Lakes Expungement Network. The first one is eligibility screenings. Come to us, let's find out if you're eligible, what we can expunge. And the second portion is our full service expungement program, which is limited to people with at least 1 cannabis charge. We pay the attorneys, we pay the fingerprints, we pay the records and the whole shebang. A lot of our friends in the cannabis community that have social equity applications are wondering, hey, if I qualify for this, will I lose my social equity? And the answer is absolutely not. Our friend Kevin was one of our first clients to go through the process, and he's currently free of all criminal records. And actually, we launched Sons and Daughters United in conjunction with some of our favorite friends like Michael Comorn and Robin Schneider and Joshua Covert, with the idea at the time people were being raided left and right due to unfair attorney general ruling, in finding people who were affected by the war on cannabis and affected by drug policy as a whole was not difficult. With legalization, I think that it's gotten a lot easier for us to participate in these spaces, but I also believe that there's still a lot of people that are left behind. So if you are watching this and you are interested in getting involved, please go online to greatlakesexpungementnetwork.org. Sign up there. You can register. We can go through. We have real attorneys reviewing your applications, real attorneys showing up to court, and top-notch attorneys. And you get your own retainer agreement and the whole shebang. I'm really excited. This is a very expensive program. We've had a lot of help from our friends at Relief and a lot of help from our friends all across the schedule today. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping we can keep the momentum going. And just recently, you can now accept donations on Facebook or make Great Lakes Expungement Network your birthday fundraiser. So please feel free to do that. We get all the donations for those things and we don't pay any fees.
That is incredible. Josie, tell us about how you came to be the first minor medical patient in the state, and how did you start Sons and Daughters?
Okay, great. So I was the first minor patient in the state of Michigan. I'm from Southwest Michigan, Benton Harbor area. So at the time I was 14 years old, and it was, long before Sanjay Gupta did his special and long before Charlotte's Web. And there really wasn't a conversation in 2009 about children using marijuana in the way that I was. So my geneticist, actually, we were re-diagnosed in 2015, but at this time, my mother and I both had the same disease. It was progressive pseudo-rheumatoid spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia, which basically fuses your joints together. My mom was told she would never live to see 30. She would never have children. If she got past that point, she would be a vegetable. My mom reports using marijuana for her pain relief since the early 90s. This is something, despite being a terminal patient, despite having seeing real serious help from it, she was still a criminal all the way up until 2008 when we passed the medical marijuana bill. We did not know what kind of, we thought we were going to get probably like brick weed or something really crazy and ridiculous. And I don't think that we really understood the level of products and really the difficulty that it took to grow marijuana. So here in the Michigan, you have to grow your kids marijuana. If you have minor patients, the mother or the father has to be the caregiver. My mom is also disabled. It was really difficult for her to do that. So we started going to all these Compassion Club meetings. I mean, we traveled to Mount Pleasant and to Detroit and to Traverse City, and all we wanted to do was learn, like, how do we grow.
Oh, Josie's connection must have gone out. Oh man, she lost the internet.
Ryan, real quick, I just wanted to say that the work that Josie does is absolutely amazing, and the effort that she's put in unselfishly for others to clear their criminal records and get back to a normal life is just unbelievable. And I really want to recognize her as being a really, really wonderful person and putting in a lot of effort for us. So
we wanted to do the same thing too. Kevin stole our thunder. All right.
Her and Brenda.
All right, Josie's back. Josie, we got 3 minutes. So
all right, let's finish it up, man. The point is, Sons and Daughters is awesome. We do a lot of really cool stuff. We do a lot of weird stuff. We do stuff that people aren't doing. If you have a loved one that is incarcerated, let me help you stay connected through travel expenses, JPay payments, and stationery. If you or someone that you know needs a criminal record expungement here in the state of Michigan, hit me up. I'm expunging records all day long. It is Josie versus the police state. So
nice. Hey, I want to let Michael ask you a quick question here.
Quick question. First of all, I want to compliment you for all the hard work you're doing. As someone who's practiced law for 30 years, the equivalent of a felony conviction, sometimes a misdemeanor, is a status that makes someone a second-class citizen, as we know. And anytime you can alleviate that and take the efforts, it has such meaning to the individual. I did one this morning, and of all the things that take place, it's very rewarding when it's accomplished. I'm curious because of the fact we live in a state that has a broken judicial system. What has been your observations as to the courts granting the petitions for expungement? I mean, do you finding that most, if not all of them, are happening? Is the court's reactions been to, deny or adjourn for other reasons? They have different, things in the card deck to utilize. But what's been your experience on that?
Yeah, so the truth of the matter is that it is an unjust system, and it's systematically like that. There's numbers to prove it, and he's right. And I don't think that we're not seeing a lot of denials. In fact, we have a 98% success rating with all of our cases, but 100% rating on our misdemeanor marijuana stuff. And that comes from the burden of proof being a lot different. So last year you had to read to orphans and be a preacher and really invest in yourself and in the community in ways that are tangible and results oriented. And they could still deny you. And now we kind of just have to tell people, hey, I'm affected by my criminal record, and here's how it affects me or it burdens me. But what's difficult is getting the records pulled, right? In these rural counties where they just take 6 to 8 months to give me a piece of paper that they have in their computer, or getting them to set a court date, right? So
well, they always need the attorney general to respond. That's always a X factor too that sometimes takes, and they've been inundated with a lot of requests. You know what I'm talking about? Like they have to,
and they're taking 90 plus days, and right. That was something that I think that none of us were prepared for, but is absolutely not something that we prepared our clients for. Right. And so the AG is just there to say, hey, this is legal. Oh, they're giving me a minute warning. This is legal or this isn't legal, right? But the judge still wants to see it. And so what I'm seeing in these rural areas, these cowboy cops aren't letting people get fingerprinted. They were probably incompetent before coronavirus, but they're absolutely incompetent now. I really appreciate being on here. I'm so thankful for the opportunity. Please go donate to the Great Lakes Expungement Network. We need the funding. This is the coolest thing I've ever done, and I think that just being a part of it is amazing, and it's life-changing for me, but it's really, truly life-changing for the people that go through the program.
Thank you, Josie. All right, on to next guest, Providence Consulting. It's a cybersecurity service. We have Mike. And nice to meet you, Mike. I'm glad it's awesome to have businesses like yourselves that we don't have a strong relationship yet, and you're still donating. So that means a lot. So introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Kieski. I am the Chief Operating Officer for Providence Consulting. We're a Lansing-based IT and cybersecurity firm. First, I'd like to say it's an honor to be here. We support the Redemption Foundation and its mission, helping right the wrongs caused from cannabis prohibition by seeking out opportunities to lift up individuals harmed by the war on cannabis. So why is Providence Consulting here today? You're asking yourself. I just want to take a couple minutes to just to talk to you. And I'm going to ask you a question as a business leader, actually just 5 questions. One, if you had a staff member that left today, could you easily cut off their access to proprietary information, passwords, bank accounts, vendor accounts? 2, if a change was made to a grow recipe or a record or a procedure, would you know who made the change and when it was made? And if you needed to, could you revert back prior to that change being made? 3, do you have the most basic email security protection in place, which is multi-factor authentication? 4, if you come into the office tomorrow, into your office, and your systems are all locked down by a ransomware message, we've all seen them, would you know who to call immediately for help? Think of the bat phone, right? Who would you pick up and who would you call right away? 5, if you were a victim of a cyber breach, would you know with confidence how quickly you could restore your data and resume your operations? So if you ask yourself those 5 questions and you said answer any of them, answer no to any of those, your business right now is at significant risk to a cybersecurity incident. IT. Go ahead.
You're making me think. That's a good way to.
Yeah.
Good way to think about it.
Yeah, it keeps me up at night, right? For all of our clients and people that aren't secure, right? So, and IT is IT security is so much more than just a threat of a foreign cyber attacker. We see in the news Russia or somewhere in Africa. It's more than that. In an industry that you're in, it's so immense with physical protocols that you understand. You take risks every day, and they pose, and some of those pose the biggest threats to your company, right? I mean, but what are some of those threats? So let me introduce you to some of them. Meeting basic IT compliance measures, such as individual login and passwords, firewalls, ransomware protection, phishing scams. We see those daily. If you're dealing with medical marijuana, meeting HIPAA compliancy, which is a whole nother level of cybersecurity and regulation that takes more than 5 minutes to discuss. Your staff can be a risk, including those with internal access to data, password, payment information, again, recipes, vendors, and so much more. Even third-party vendors can be at risk. For example, what if someone hacks into an HVAC system? Crops can be ruined by simply changing the environment, water, heat, light. That's a big possibility. You must have protocols in place like 2-factor authentication to prevent what's happening. Data being deleted, even by accident, and it's not retrievable because you don't have the right data backup in place. System failures, such as equipment crashing, can cease operations. And on top of that, cyber attacks. The industry is young, competitive, and extremely vulnerable, and ransomware attacks are growing at an exponential rate. So those are just a few things.
Well, Mike, that's a lot. We might have to have you on the podcast here. I appreciate you coming on and the support.
Yeah.
Use you to attack other people?
What's that?
Can we use you to attack other people? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, I had a complete data loss on my computer earlier this year. Ryan knows about it. Totally overwhelmed. Didn't know what to do. And honestly, I ended up not resolving the issue. But I had some stuff backed up at another computer and was able to recover most of it. But what a pain in the ass. And so I can definitely see the importance of what you're talking about here, Mike.
Yeah. Thanks. And it's a lot of times people will say, what information do I have that the bad guys would want? And that's not the question you should be asking yourself, right? Because you lost your data. It's what information do I hold that's important to me, right? So this critical information that the hackers, they'll hold it for ransom if they gain access to your IT infrastructure.
All right. Well, thank you, Mike. We're on to Rise, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. And with that, Kim over at Rise. Nice shirt, Kim.
Yes, I love it.
Nice. Glad you got it. Kim is running things, and what's your official title up at Rise Iron Mountain?
Official title is inventory lead.
Yeah, and I know you've done a lot of the different jobs, and the cool thing about Rise is they kind of promote from within, and I really like your staff. I came up there for a vendor day at the end of August, and man, was I blown away. It was a beautiful thing to see what's going on in the UP, and especially the Western UP, and all the cannabis getting bought and money spent from places like Wisconsin and Minnesota, and I know I heard you guys had seen like 30 different state driver's license, so it's an incredible thing. Thanks for being so supportive of the foundation, and tell us a little bit about your store and yourself here.
Yeah, we love it. I mean, we're just like blown away by how busy we are here. And, like you said, a lot of our business is the state of Wisconsin. So that's why collabing with you guys and making a partnership with Redemption and us being on the border, we're expanding as well. We're opening a store in Ironwood come springtime. And we're hoping to get more and more Wisconsin business, keep the traffic flowing in, and then hopefully we can bring some of our social justice change initiatives that we're working with you on into the state of Wisconsin as well, and start educating them down there. Our core values here are about education. We want to educate not only our bud tenders, but we want to educate our customers. And with the education, we think that that'll decrease the stigma of cannabis being a drug rather than medication. You and I have discussed a lot, cannabis is a good medicine. And we have to fight against those people that still believe and have that negative perception of it. So we're really into educating people, treating the customer like friends, treating our friends like family, just increasing awareness. And I'm so excited for next week because that I'm running redemption carts on special for Christmas. We're a little bit scared as well because if you guys heard, we did so well on Black Friday that we had the city come at us because of traffic. So now we're trying to bring down the sales and spread it out over 3 days so we don't back up the highway again. But yeah, it's amazing. We're just loving it.
That's so neat, and it's been such a pleasure to be able to, and I came to talk to people from Wisconsin and even farther away, we have it so good. I'm in Lansing. It's one of the safest places in the world to consume marijuana. A lot of your customers are going back and quite honestly risking it. So I'm glad you guys are fighting up there, and it's important. And then, just besides that, do you have before we wrap it up here, do you have any other plans to come downstate at all?
So our Gaylord store is opening actually first. We're going to be open in March.
Cool.
Yep. And the cool thing about our Gaylord store is they didn't want any traffic or any deals being done within the public's view. So we're going to have a drive-in. The doors come down and close. Everything's done in private. The doors will fly open and you'll be able to exit with your products. And I suppose I'll let you guys know that that's how the Ironwood store is going to be too. We just got it approved. Yeah, we're going to be inside one and outside the other end. So it's awesome.
Well, thank you, Kim. That's going to be great for when it's cold weathers too. So thank you for everything you're doing with up there and being great stewards of marijuana in the UP. I appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Ryan, and thanks for helping out the convicts and changing the stigma of cannabis. We're with you.
Thank you, Kim.
Redemption.
Oh man, love Kim. Isaac, next guest. Isaac leaves. So I from Greenlight Energy Conservation, and hopefully if you're prepared, I don't know if you are, Isaac. I guess I could have called you. You can announce kind of what we're doing tonight, but Isaac's Mr. LinkedIn. He's got a big presence on there, and I'm on LinkedIn. And if people, respectfully, I can tell they're not a bot and it's not anything else, and they're asking me questions. And Isaac was persistent and came actually and took me out to Art's Pub in Lansing. And for anyone that knows that, if they do that, I'm usually game to hang out and to listen to. So Isaac, thank you. Tell us what you do, and go ahead and announce it if you can.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you having me on. It's an honor to be here. I actually feel like I'm amongst friends, even though aside from yourself and Kevin, I haven't met anyone else here on the show. But, just tuning into the podcast pretty consistently and hearing everybody. And I kind of feel like I already am amongst friends and I've gotten to know people. I feel like I've had all of you at Art's Pub for some beers. So it's great to be here. Just to, be a donor to the Redemption Foundation was just such an easy decision when we heard about the telethon. I mean, the work that Redemption does is incredible. Obviously, anytime I think you partner and you donate with a charitable organization, it's really your way of making a difference. And just being a part of the cannabis industry in Michigan over the last year, which I'll talk about a little bit, and becoming part of the greater cannabis community through our work here, it's already been a meaningful and rewarding experience. And now to just give back through the foundation, it really takes the positive impact that we strive to make in the cannabis space and really amplifies that even further in a more meaningful way. So again, I really want to thank you, Ryan, and your team at Redemption for providing that vehicle for us to be able to give back. So thank you for that. Now, as far as what we're doing together, just a quick little sneak preview, I guess, if you will. I'm so pleased and proud and honored to announce our partnership with Redemption Foundation as part of the work we'll be doing moving forward in the Michigan industry. We're going to be donating 10% of our proceeds to the Redemption Foundation. So just to take a step back and describe, what we do and how we plan on benefiting the foundation. So we have a utility bill audit service that we offer to indoor cannabis cultivations. One of the large expenses involved in growing cannabis, obviously, is the utility bills. And what we have put together is a simple analysis of bills using our experience in utilities, which is a little bit beyond the scope of this interview. But we've been able to find and fix billing mistakes that just float under the radar that most people don't know exist. And even if they did, they wouldn't have the time to go after it. So what we do is we offer a no upfront fee analysis of the bills to see if there's any opportunity to find and fix mistakes. And, we're compensated by a percentage of the results. And further downstream from that, a percentage of our proceeds will be going directly to the foundation. So we like to think of that as a triple win. So again, thank you, Ryan, for making that all possible. And we're excited to see, what we can do together here.
Me as well.
Yeah, hi Isaac, it's Kevin Pipus over at True Cannabis. I just wanted to say thank you for all your help that you did for True Cannabis. We haven't exactly seen the check rolling yet, but we're on our way to that point. And guys, if you're running a cannabis business in Michigan, you have to reach out to Isaac. These guys will save you a ton of money. The utility companies are miscategorizing how we're being charged, and the taxes are being billed improperly, and all that can be retro back years in the past. So you guys, if you have not reached out to Isaac, please do so. And then the work that he's doing to help the Redemption Foundation and give it back, we couldn't ask for anything more. So I appreciate you, Isaac. Appreciate you coming on the show and giving a big donation. So thank you.
Likewise. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, and Isaac, we appreciate it. And, there's a lot of, we'll make the announcement and more. And if whoever's listening to this and you're a grower, processor, reach out to Isaac, tell him you heard about it, because there's a lot of people and companies that can attest to it and will attest to it. So it's the real deal. Thanks again, Isaac.
Yep, my pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
All right, up next on the show is the Stone Depot out of Leone Township, Michigan, down in Jackson. Our good friend Danielle's a little under the weather, so she asked me to read a little statement that she prepared for them, and then I'd like to talk about them a little bit, near to my heart. So this is from Danielle, the GM over at Stone Depot. Hello, everyone. I'm feeling a little under the weather and very disappointed I am unable to attend, but didn't want to miss this opportunity to acknowledge the incredible accomplishments of our community in 2021. We are absolutely stunned by the achievements of the Redemption Foundation, Glenn, Sons and Daughters United in 2021. Their achievements in a very short time frame is incredible, and we're honored and humbled to have a small part in those efforts. As we move into 2022, Stone Depot's continued commitment to the battle for the preservation of caregivers' rights, expungement efforts across the state, and the push for the social equity within our industry remains firm. We are proud to be a part of the Michigan cannabis industry and are excited to see what goals we can execute together in the new year. So she's wishing everyone a safe and healthy and happy holiday season and a wonderful 2022. So warm regards from Daniel Ross and the entire Stone Depot crew. Thank you, Danielle. Hopefully you're watching this, and I'd like to talk about the Stone Depot a little bit. It's near and dear to my heart, and a little history behind it. I was worked and helped on Leone Township and worked with the ordinance, and I helped lock up that piece of property. And it actually ended up becoming a strange and illegal battle, and the good guys won, and my good friends Kyle, Greg, and some others got it, and those guys have been around in Lansing since 2010. A great group, great store, super supportive, and that one I'm just so proud of and proud of the support. Does anyone else would like to say something about the Stone Depot crew? I know everybody knows them.
Well, I saw the process that they went through also, and I have a lot of respect for all of them over there, Kyle, Greg, Danielle, and everybody. It's fitting that they have that place and that it's doing so well. They have great cannabis at great prices, and it just works out well for everybody. And I know what they've been through, so I really appreciate that.
Danielle, just as a person, is a huge asset to have too. So any place that she was going to land, I was going to be happy with, but Stone Depot's really exceeded expectations.
Yeah, and it's for those that don't know the history behind that, Greg Mock over there, he originally ran the Cushion. He opened up in Lansing, right down close to the Capitol on Michigan Avenue, down near where the old Rum Runners were in 2010, and that got some. He was out there with us, and those guys have been rocking and going the whole time, and really been around Lansing, and Kyle has been around Lansing for a long time as well. Just an incredible group. So and the attorneys over there are well and are involved as my good friend Bob Eldori and son Marcus, and I'm excited. It's been one of the #1 redemption stores. So we'll see what else they got. They do got a new grow coming on as well. They have a little boutique grow right in the back of where the dispensary building is, for those of you who've been there. And those guys are great growers. And then they got a bigger grow coming online, I believe so, in the next year. So I've learned a lot about the cannabis business and game and selling from Kyle over there. I ask him questions. I call him probably he's up there with some of the most complete knowledge in cannabis to be able to do any license type and the different businesses. So just real happy about working with Stone Depot. So with that, I'm super excited about the next guest. It is Real Leaf Solutions and our very own Tom Beller. And Tom, this is all you. Take it away.
Oh, actually, I'm going to invite Krista on because it's her birthday.
Hey, Krista, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
It's nice to do this from home where we can actually celebrate and imbibe and have a nice evening. And this is really cool. We're happy to be here. Obviously, we're always on board to be, working with you guys and just cultivating, solid relationships and just understanding, being with like-minded people who understand, the struggle of, what it is and what it was like to get to where we are. And we are a family-owned cultivation facility in northern Michigan. We were one of the first in the state. caregiver roots, obviously, from Southern Michigan. We relocated up to Kalkaska when they opted in, and it's been a wild ride. It's just been making a great team and just cultivating great cannabis the best we can do, and we really, it's just nice to actually say that we get to do this every day. We pinch ourselves, and we're really grateful to be still stewards of a sacred plant, and and knowing all these great people that we've met along the way. That's just the way it should be.
I often tell people, like, I got to see you guys really from start to finish when it came to Kalkaska, and to be able to pull off what you guys did, really, you two did every job, did every aspect of the business. It's pretty incredible stuff, and that's why you guys are, so successful and doing things right, and are known for that. So it's been exciting. I learned a lot watching you guys operate, and it's been fun, and I can't wait to see what you guys got going on, especially with Redemption in the coming year as well. So top quality flower, and thanks, guys.
Thanks, man. We try our best. That's all we can do, man. And it's just wonderful, having great people in our lives, and we thank all of you for being a part of that.
Yeah, Tom, hey, I just wanted to say that, I can relate to you guys in a big way. I'm a caregiver that's came up into this industry, and not a lot of people understand the struggle that we've gone through. Like you and I've talked about in the past with the PTSD, having to go in front of the board, to have to organically grow your company, figure out things that you were never an expert at, whether it's accounting or bookkeeping, or, we grew marijuana, and that's what we do. And so, Tom, I have the utmost respect for you guys over there. I can relate to you more than most anybody in this industry, because I know that you know the struggle that we've been through, and I feel like we have a really good connection that way. So I appreciate doing the podcast with you every week. I think it's been awesome. I've had a great time doing it, and I hope you guys have a safe and great holiday, dude. And that goes to you too, Krista. I know you're not a dude, but
he's the talker.
Hey, you guys.
Unfortunately,
man, we really appreciate Real Leaf Solutions. You've been hanging with Jazz Cabbage all year, and that's much appreciated. You've demonstrated how caregivers can come in and scale up and produce good cannabis and make it available to a lot of people with the right attitude and the right philosophy, and work with other like-minded companies. And just a great example for the commercial industry, and much appreciated. Thank you so much.
It's about community.
Tom,
Hi, Tom.
I concur with what everybody says, but I can't believe that no one is mentioning that when the question is asked, by the way, which one is pink, people know that it's Tom. I mean, I can't even believe this conversation is going on. We're not talking about the masterful and echoes of Pink Floyd that you're also involved with, and your, outrageous, extreme, outstanding performance at Cannajam. But it's an interesting fact, and I've, your all those things that were said. But I just wanted to throw in there your involvement with that, and how much we had of your getting involved with our thing. And
with music and stuff, it's about community and being about a part of a group that is something larger than the sum of its parts. And it's the same thing with cannabis, and just trying to make the world a better place if you can.
There you go. Good stuff.
Well, I just want to say real quick that I think it's super awesome that you both work together. There's not many married couples that work together. And how do you guys make that work? Just real quick.
You speak to that, please.
Gosh, I'm not really sure how it works, but I know when I work from home and he's at the shop that we actually miss spending time together. So I don't know, it's some sort of miracle.
That's a good answer. Thank you so much, everyone. I want to thank you, Krista, and obviously thank you, Tom, and thank you for all the support. We're going to do a lot more. Up next, we've got Josh Covert. Josh and I've been renting a building from Josh and been working in the same building for three and a half years now, and just it's been great watching Josh work. And we got Josh on. He's really led the charge along with Paul Talenta on the Great Lakes Expungement Network, letting us be very generous with billing and giving us deals, and then also been doing an incredible job. Josh is well known for his defense of operating OUILs, operating under the influence, and he's been able to save a couple of young men's lives for us as far as like not having a license for the next 10 years. So Josh, thanks for doing all that you're doing, and thanks for obviously taking time out of your night and stepping out and talking to us.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It's great to be on there, and I really think what you're doing with the telethon's a great idea, and I'd like to participate in future years. I was watching some of the earlier guests, and it seems like everybody's having a good time out there tonight. So thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. And Josh, can you tell us a little bit about like when you go and you came? I met you when you were at the Nichols Law Firm right away, and we worked together on social media, and you guys were really known for DUI defense, and I think you've talked about that in the training you've had. So what's going on with like cases, and what are these prosecutors trying to do to these people, and with THC in the system, and how do you protect yourself?
Yeah, that's great. It's a good topic. I really enjoy talking about that and defending those types of cases, because I think the law and how it's enforced by law enforcement and probation officers is certainly out of whack with reality. Right now, we see a kind of varied approach from county to county, but I've seen people just recently I had a case with a 1 nanogram per milliliter, which is the lowest that the labs actually test for, and they were pursuing charges. They were getting ready to go to trial. It wasn't until like a week before trial when they realized that we were pretty serious and we were gonna make them prove it in court that they actually just outright dismissed the case. And I've seen a lot of that in the last year or two, and it seems like the prosecuting attorneys out there know that their cases are pretty weak when it comes to impairment or proving impairment or intoxication when it involves THC. And they like to take what I would say the low-hanging fruit. But if somebody hires somebody that knows what they're doing, like Mr. Camoran, or somebody from my office. There's lots of great offices out there. You mentioned Mike Nichols earlier. A lot of people that really know how to defend those cases. And if you get somebody that really pushes the prosecuting attorney a little bit and holds their feet to the fire, I generally think people see dismissals and favorable results. I haven't really done a lot of jury trials in the last couple of years because most of them have gotten dismissed a day, a week, a couple weeks before trial. And I just want people to know that if you get charged with, having THC in your system while driving, it's definitely not a lost cause. Contact an attorney and talk to them about it, and make the prosecuting attorney, prove their case, which quite often I don't think they're going to actually want to do or will do. But in terms of also protecting yourself, when driving, first thing I always tell everybody is try to avoid interactions with law enforcement when you're driving, however possible. I think that's a good idea. I wouldn't say however possible, but drive safe. Make sure your tags are on, your headlights are on, those kinds of things. That's the best. Second, if you get pulled over and they start asking you questions about whether or not you've used cannabis or marijuana recently, I recommend to not answer those questions, and just tell them that that's not something that you're willing to discuss with them, because it's either medical, if you have a medical card, or it's something that you don't need to discuss with police, even if it is adult use. So that's what I always recommend, is don't discuss it with an officer. It's not going to help you out. They're only going to use whatever statement you make against you. I've had statements where my client said I used a day or two prior, and yet the prosecuting attorney still tries to show up in court and use that statement as proof of intoxication or impairment, which I think we all know, and I think most jurors know, is complete nonsense. But it doesn't. Prosecuting attorneys are willing to try stuff all the time, and if somebody doesn't, stand up to them and, like I said earlier, hold their feet to the fire, they get their way. So I think not giving the information to the officers is a good way to start. Not having that encounter with them. And then, if you do end up getting charged, I recommend, really contacting an attorney that knows how to handle that type of specific case, and, insist on going to trial, assuming, you have the evidence in your favor, which in most every case I've dealt with, I think there's certainly favorable evidence in terms of there not being impairment or intoxication.
Josh, I wanted to ask you something. You're spot on, and all the things you were saying were absolutely true. I remember the campaign against legalizing marijuana from the sheriff for the driving issue it's very difficult for us to figure out probable cause to arrest them when they're driving, which means they don't have it. You know what I mean? But you're right. It's all been, yeah. But I wanted to ask you this, because a handful of people that would have a different reaction to watching the Court of Claims testimony of the lab and the first expert that testified. There's a group of lawyers that when they saw, I think you know what I'm talking about, used to work for the Forensic Science Division, got qualified as an expert, and then ultimately testified that the MRA can't judge us. We've had thousands of experiences with her. I remember I was asking you for that transcript from back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's, that nonsense of the lab that permeates is, it's still festering as a cyst in all this. You know what I mean? It just doesn't go away. And that's at the core of a lot of the stuff you're talking about, and some of the stuff that Nichols Law Firm and yourself have been very diligent at exposing. Good stuff, Joe. Thanks.
Thanks, Josh.
Did you have any thoughts about watching Michelle Glynn testify, though? Did that irk a reaction for you?
It did, yeah. She's been let's just say that she's not somebody I really trust a lot of what she says. So, right. And that did make me squirm a little bit. So, yeah.
Josh, tell me a little bit. I remember you famously always said, hey, I'm fighting. You're a huge proponent of Prop 1. Am I legalized? You're always like, this is putting me out of a job. You mostly did all criminal defense, and you didn't care, and it was authentic. And so tell us how you guys altered and the new opportunities with just being a lawyer and doing the business side of it.
Yeah. So I went to law school to help fight the drug war. I became an attorney to help fight the drug war and make marijuana legal. And I'm really glad that all occurred. I went from taking, several calls a day on people that had got raided, pulled over with cannabis in their car, possession, you name it, criminal cases left and right for years and years. I was going all over the state of Michigan every day. And now I rarely get a call that involves crime, criminal activity, and cannabis. Very rarely. So I went from, handfuls per week to 3 or 4 a year if we're talking about raids. And so I think, Prop 1's been a tremendous success. And I'm really glad to see it, working the way we envisioned in terms of, stopping the, criminal penalties for almost all cannabis activity. So it's really good. No, what we've been able to do is, because I've worked with a lot of people over the years, and a lot of those people got to know me as a criminal defense attorney, trusted the work I did, and started asking questions about licensing years ago. And we've slowly, kind of transitioned to mostly doing licensing work for businesses now.
No, it's been fun to watch. Like I said, Josh graciously rented me an office space there about three and a half years ago, and before I started Redemption, and even right before Prop 1. So thank you, and thanks for all the work you've been doing for us with Glenn and the foundation, Josh. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
All right.
Have a good holiday.
You too, and
thanks. Bye.
So up next, he's not able to make the show tonight, but a long time, cannabis activist, been around forever. Was heavily involved in, getting and all the Detroit work that's been done in the 2008 law, and a lot of other organizations, Cannabis Patients United, moderator of Safer Mich, Tim Beck. And Tim Beck graciously, he's out of the game. For those that don't know him, he's been around did the Detroit initiatives to get legalization there and really push for legalization and worked with MPP. And then I met Tim in 2010 early on and with Cannabis Patients United, and he's always dedicated his life to cannabis reform and has had a lot of success. So I really just want to thank Tim. Thank you, Tim, for donating. You're still donating to the foundation and being involved, even though you're really kind of done, as you said, done what you wanted to do. So anyone else want to give a shout out to Tim?
Shout out to the Godfather.
Hey, Ryan, we've talked about it on the show when Tim was on before. When I first got back here from Colorado and started doing legislative stuff, I remember going to a Senate judiciary hearing, and Tim was sitting in the front row. And as I walked by, he stood up and he said, "Hey, Kevin, it's nice to meet you. I'm Tim Beck." And I thought to myself, how the hell does this guy know who I am? You know what I mean? Tim is on top of his game. The guy knows everybody. And I was super impressed by that. For him to have known who I was when I was new on the scene, I had a ton of respect for him right off the get. What a great guy, and he's been quite an influence on the marijuana industry here in Michigan, and really appreciate all his efforts.
You can't talk about him and not give of his many successes. He does maintain the moderator of the Safe Mish, which has been a source of debate, discussion, and banning of certain individuals just I'm just kidding. But it is a good thing, and it has, even despite Facebook and all these other things that draw you away, it does still a source where people go and get information. So there's got to be a lot of credit there, and he's been able to manage that well and keep good dialogue going, I guess. But there should be a lot of credit there for him as well.
Yeah, without a doubt. And once again, thanks, Tim. And hey, we got a little bit of some time here. Michael, you just disappeared. Okay, you're back. Yep. Hey, we got 3 minutes. We got 2 minutes, real quick. Tell us. I know you can't do it, but give us a little background on Viridis.
Well, I wanted, this. I don't know if people heard about this. I don't know if this is a lot discussed, but I'm just going to throw it out there for entertainment purposes. The ruling of the judge basically split the baby. There's two labs, both had recalls. The judge said, "I'm enjoining this recall, and that marijuana can come to market." The other one, the recall remained. Between the date of the complaint where the recall happened, which let's just say was December the 1st, and the order or ruling was on December the 13th or 14th, between the day that the recall began and the day of the ruling, there was all this retesting that was taking place. And of the retesting, 40% of it failed. And the question is, the order ruling of the court says that lab, can all go out there. But there's this knowledge that exists that the 40% of the material didn't pass. Does anyone know what's going to happen? Do you understand what's going on? So it's the ruling is that all that stuff from there is not enjoined, it can come out, but they've already retested it. 40% of it failing, so that entirety by court order is to be released, but there's knowledge that not all of it passed. I'm just saying, what do you think will happen? Anyone have any opinions? Rick, Jamie?
Hopefully the retailers will not put it back on the shelves, even if they aren't going to get reimbursed or can't get any credit for it or whatever. I would not like to think that that's still going to make it back to market.
The Court of Claims required the MRA to create a workaround to their own MRA trap system, which would normally prevent them from doing exactly what the court ordered them to do. And the fact that court ordered the MRA to do it, so they had no choice, but no court has ordered any retailer to sell this. So it's always an option available to that particular retailer and also to the processors that may have that prior to transferring out to a retail situation. I know for some of them, it may be as much as $30 million. We're not really sure how large that particular portion would be, but for some of them, it might be a tough decision. But I think if you want to maintain a long-term relationship with your client base, with your customers, you don't do them dirty like that.
I agree, sure. But I don't know that when it gets to the shelves, it's going to be represented as that. And I think that the dilemma here of this potentially happening and being a nuance in the way the court ruled and the knowledge that they have is an interesting dynamic.
It is.
But,
Hey, we gotta jump in for Kevin here, Michael. We hit the timeline.
Sorry.
But thank you. I know we're gonna have to have you back on the podcast, Kevin, our very own Pybus, True Cannabis. Kevin, we met back in the day. I knew of Cannasewer opening when I got out of prison, and I heard they grew good pot. And Kevin reached out to me. Eventually, went to an Illinois NCIA event, met Mark Passerini, and told him about the social media work I was doing. And you trusted me then. And then when I decided to do redemption, you said yes without hesitation. So thank you, and tell everyone about yourself and True Cannabis.
Yeah, Ryan, it was great meeting you when you first got out of prison, and hearing your story was just out of this world. And we often joke that they gave you the best street cred in the world by putting you in prison for weed, and now look where you're at, So thank you guys for doing that too. As much as I know that's been a negative thing in your life, but it's also been quite a positive too. So as far as my company, True Cannabis, my company is a small batch craft cannabis company in Lansing, Michigan. One of our slogans that we talk about all the time is that we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. So instead of sitting here talking about my company for the next 3 minutes, I want to talk about some of the people that we lost along the way. And I want to talk about 3 people real quick. And the first one is my good friend, Mark Dorsey, who passed away from throat cancer about 10 years ago. And Mark was the first person to introduce me to kind weed. He was an outdoor grower, a guerrilla grower. He came from the day when you really had to do things undercover. You couldn't just go to a grow store and all that. And Mark was a true ninja, man. I've never seen a guy get back and run as fast as he can in a tree and run literally 12 feet up a tree and grab a branch and just hang there and then laugh at me while I tried to do it stoned for the next 15 minutes, But Mark was a great guy. We created Granny G's, the gummy company that we did back in the day through the Caregiver Network to pay tribute to him. And so I want to thank Mark, even though he's not here, for all that he did for me over the years. The second person I want to talk about real quick is Greg Quiet from True Hemp. Greg passed away a couple of years ago from pancreatic cancer. Greg was such a pioneer in this industry, creating lotions before anybody knew what lotions really were, transdermal absorption of these products to try to alleviate arthritis and all just different kinds of ailments. And Greg treated me like a son from day one. He was always there to support me. He would call me on a regular basis as we were going through licensing and encourage me to keep moving forward and keep my head up. And I really miss him dearly. One of my greatest friends in the world. And then the last person I want to talk about real quick is my father. My dad passed away in 2014, and that's what brought me back to Michigan. People say that things happen for a reason. It's a really shitty reason, but I made it back to Michigan, and it gave me my kickoff to kind of doing things here in Michigan. And the ironic thing is that my dad managed McDonald Ford Truck in Lansing at the corner of Jolly and Cedar for about 15 years, and now my facility is literally about a mile from that place. And I get to make that same drive, and I often think about the things that went through his head while he was making that commute, and the things that go through my head. And were we thinking about the same stuff at all? And when I first started, with marijuana and getting in trouble and stuff like that, my dad was all against it. But then as I grew into an adult and he saw how responsible I was about things, he always had my back, and so I miss him dearly as well. And I just wanted to use my time to talk about those guys.
Thank you for sharing, Kevin.
Yeah,
that's heartwarming.
It's awesome, Kevin. Thank you for being back in Michigan. It's been great.
Yeah, I appreciate all you guys' support too. You guys have always been there for me and been like my family. So I really want to thank you guys. I love being a part of the Redemption Foundation, the Smokin Rope Podcast, and all the stuff that we do to right the wrongs of the past and try to make a better world for people moving forward. So I'm honored to be a part of it.
Right on. Thank you.
Good job.
Yep.
Love you, Kevin.
Yep. Thanks, Kevin. Next, we have Rob Robar from the Helping Friendly Hemp Company, and it took me a while for me and Rob to meet. We met at the Canna Jam.
Yeah.
The VIP tent, that was awesome. Shout out to the Canna Jam, of course, too. Again, Michael and Tom. And then, but I saw you were doing a lot with Local Roots and sponsoring the concerts up there that I went up to, attended, and doing a lot of cool stuff with veterans as well. So why don't I let you introduce yourself? Tell us about your company and some of the stuff you're doing.
Yeah, my name is Rob Robar. I'm from the Helping Friendly Hemp Company. We started in 2017. That's when we, licensed or whatever. Kind of moved in that space and kind of, started off as a topical company because that was really where my passion is and where my main issues have always been, is kind of based around my own peripheral neuropathy and things like that. Started the company basically making topicals and just kind of hustling it out there within the the caregiver type scene. And then as we started to get more, availability with dispensaries and things like that, started moving the brand a little bit more on that. But then we've built up now to being in, a good portion of operating dispensaries currently and about 1,500 stores nationwide. So it's been a hard growth, but like everybody, we've been kind of doing different things. And part of the thing for me really in all of it is being involved with something like this, being involved with, probably in the future more with redemption as far as what you guys are doing is, the expungement things and things like that. But for me, it's always been based around giving back. And it's why I started doing it, really, is to help people. And I think that's why we all kind of started doing what we've done, is to give back and kind of help people out. You mentioned the veterans and things like that. We have here, might be hard to see on the screen here, but the Hero Pack, it's a gummy pack that we signed on for and donate 10% of all the proceeds going back to the Hero Project, which is, another nonprofit within Michigan dealing with cannabis and dealing with veterans, so just another cause there. So a lot of what I do with what I'm trying to do as I grow the company is try to give back to others. I mean, lots of different projects.
That's great, Rob. And it's not easy doing what you're doing. There's a lot of people trying to, be in the CBD space, and I gotta hand it to you. I didn't know you, but you just popped up all over the place, and I reckon it's been fun to watch. It's you got a skill for it. So
thank you.
That's incredible. How did you guys? How'd you meet the Liskies over there, and tell us what you did with Lanesburg?
Oh, well, one day they just kind of approached me and just said, hey, hey, we're looking for sponsors. And they were asked to do one show. And I said, well, how much is it to do the whole month? Honestly, because it really wasn't very much money if you really think it all out. And I love music. I'm a concert person. I'm a fish head. The brand's kind of based in the lore of the band Fish. There's that whole culture that I have about that and giving back. So it's just kind of like, it just kind of fit. And I love, like I said, they're great people. Local Roots is like absolutely my favorite place in all of Michigan, honestly.
No, I love it. It's great how that's affected the law. What is tell us a little more about the Hero Project, and we got about 40 seconds, but tell us about that and what kind of work they're doing.
Yeah, the Hero Project, basically, again, trying to raise awareness for one about around the things of veterans issues. A lot of them in the cannabis space. We had hoped at some point that we could maybe work in some training programs and get some people involved in the industry who'd like to hire some various veterans. And trying to work something like that eventually, that would be like a great dream of mine, actually, to kind of get everybody working with the plant, touching it, being involved. And we've got a lot of really great players who have really been helping out with that, Anton and things like that have really helped push that whole veterans, cause,
It's incredible. It's something that I'm going to be getting a lot more involved with. Redemption's getting a little involved with it. We'll announce that later. We've been having to work hard to get through the MRA and some stuff, but we're through it. So, thank you, Rob. Thanks for donating to the foundation, and thank you for being on. And keep up.
Thanks for having us.
All right, next, Mike Stein from the Mike Stein Insurance Agency, and he looks like he's got internet back in East Lansing. Finally, that sucked. I was a part of that. No cable for me for about 5 days. But Mike, I used to be an insurance agent. For people that know that, it's commercial. So I didn't do that anymore. So I watch Mike work, and he insures a lot of cannabis businesses, and he's a really thorough and good agent and a good guy. So thanks for being a friend, and thanks for donating. Mike, tell us about what you're doing with the cannabis.
Well, looks like my video feed is struggling a little bit. Maybe that internet isn't quite fixed all the way yet, but been working in the cannabis industry since 2018, and thought I would have seen a lot more change by now from the insurance companies coming into the market, but it is pretty much the same players that we've been working with since the beginning. It has not evolved the way I kind of hoped and thought it would at this point, but great companies still involved, and obviously the industry is continuing to evolve and change with new requirements from the MRA coming out with the dispensary coverage for the minors and additional. But appreciate you having me on, and glad to be a part of the Redemption Telethon, and things I would probably tell dispensary owners to do in light of the break-ins and other things that we're seeing in Battle Creek, Kalamazoo. I would probably start reviewing your security plan and where you have your cannabis locked up, and review those programs, because a lot of the insurance companies have very strict rules on how and where that needs to be secured. And if you're not doing exactly what you've told them you are, they're not jumping to pay claims. So I would probably review that. There's lots of great security personnel out there that can do that, but that is definitely going to be a problem in the future. And I would recommend everybody, before it happens and they're forced to deal with it, I would probably review those plans and make sure that they're airtight.
Hey, Mike, I have a question real quick for you.
Hi.
How are you doing? How was it for you, because you're insurance? So how was it for you telling your friends and family and your coworkers that, hey, I'm getting into the cannabis industry and who's with me?
Yeah, I haven't ever been one for very many rules, so it was in my nature to kind of do something that was not maybe traditional. To be honest, and when I was on Ryan's podcast earlier, I told the story that my wife and Russ Chambers really are the ones that kind of pushed me into this industry by just saying, hey, look, this is going to be the next big thing, and go for it. And when I started telling my parents, who kind of grew up in the 60s, and they were a little sheepish about, what am I getting into? What am I doing? And then I just kind of explained, all the things that I've learned and known to be true about the industry, and how amazing the people are, and a lot of the misinformation that's been out there for so long. And couldn't have been happier to get involved in this industry. It's been pretty amazing to see people start little businesses and turn them into huge successes. It's to play a little role in those successes has been pretty humbling to see so many successes, and how well people are doing because of this industry.
Well, thank you, Mike. And it's always seeing there's so many ancillary businesses, like you're saying, that get overlooked, and you're a shining example of that. So thanks again, and thanks for the continued support.
You got it, buddy.
All right. Up next, and just upstairs, right above me, James. You're on mute, James. James McGilly with Covert Law, and James and I, we met about three and a half years ago, and I started renting an office in his building, and now we share a building together, and had a big a big, I guess, ribbon cutting, and it's been a blast to get to know you, James. Thanks for all your support, and tell everyone what you're doing and what you got going on.
Hey, thank you, Ryan. Yeah, long time no see. Thank you very much for having me aboard. I'm sitting not quite directly above Ryan, so I'll try not to stamp on his ceiling too much. But no, I've known Ryan for about 3 or 4 years since joining Covert Law Firm. He's a gentleman, a scholar, very proud to see him continue his journey of redemption. I mean, it's a very fitting brand. He's the man for the job, and I've always said to anyone, my money's on base. So a huge believer in the purpose and the thrust of the foundation. Is making a massive difference, a direct impact into the lives of people that have been unfairly treated by the unequal laws that we have still to this day. But happy to see that it's progressing and evolving to the point where people who were delegitimized and put behind bars are now able to spread their wings and fly and make a meaningful difference in all sorts of arenas. So happy to see you doing well, Base. I'm sure it'll continue for many years to come. Quick shout out to Mike Stein, best radio voice in the insurance industry. Mike helped us navigate a few twists and turns when we were insuring this building.
Oh, yeah.
Moving in and helping us get rid of some of the knob and tube issues upstairs. So Mike, big fan of Mike, and definitely send business his way when we can. But yeah, happy to support the Redemption Foundation. I know that they're going to be doing important work long into the future and helping in direct and meaningful ways wherever they can. And it doesn't hurt that Ryan's products are amongst the best in the state and priced to move, very considerate of people's budgets and making the product available in as many retail stores as you can. So certainly glad to get the opportunity to work with him and alongside him and help his causes.
Well, thank you, James. It's been fun watching you progress, and so people don't know, James does a lot of licensing in cannabis business, and also is a trademark attorney before that expert. So James, we got about 2 minutes left. Give us a little bit of a background on trademarking and how that works with cannabis.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, it's interesting. Michigan allows for trademark registration and protection, both of logos and words and so on. But also of service marks. So we have one as Michigan Cannabis Lawyers. And the Michigan perspective is a little different at the federal level. So it's easier to get some people trademark licensed for hemp products. But cannabis is still federally Schedule I controlled substance. So the U.S. trademark situation doesn't protect cannabis products. However, Michigan is a bit more sympathetic and it's a bit more robust. So you can definitely trademark on the adult use and also the medical side and double your protection there. And it's been helping some small businesses who want to get involved in licensing agreements with either licensed processors or licensed growers where they can brand, their product in their own, in that company's expressive trade and broaden its reach and broaden its penetration into the market and possibly get into other markets out of state. So that's been much more possible on the hemp seed and clone side of things. So if anyone out there is interested in getting some more information about becoming a hemp shipper and possibly shipping hemp seeds and having the protection of the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office and also the blessing of the U.S. Postal Service, they now offer quite a helpful program where you can reduce and hopefully eliminate any interruptions in packages that get sent through the U.S. mail as long as they contain hemp products. So if anyone needs any more information about that, definitely go to micannabislawyer.com or hit us up at 517-512-8364. Thank you for this opportunity, Ryan. I hope you have a tremendously successful remainder of the evening, and thank you for the opportunity to participate.
You got it, James. Thank you for donating, and also thanks, for
our pleasure. Thank you.
Your life, Tiffany. And so some people say, how do you get successful? So one of the good things, if you're in cannabis or cannabis brand, share a building with cannabis lawyers. You can get a lot done quickly. So thanks again, James.
My pleasure. Thanks, Base.
Up next, we got a big announcement. Brand new podcast on the scene with two guys that I met around legalization and now are owning licenses, and Chris is doing a great work with Redemption. So without further ado, Chris Silva and Kyle Miller.
What's up, y'all? How's it going, guys?
What's up, guys?
Good to see everyone. Cool. Well, yep, like Ryan alluded to, we were going to be launching a new podcast that Kyle and I will be co-hosting together. Hoping to start maybe January. You know, keep in mind we're still a bunch of stoners here. We're thinking January start, and the name of the show will be Chad Watch, which I think everyone kind of knows what a Chad is. And if not, that would be like someone in our industry who's, you know, usually like the rich uncle or something, you know. And on a very serious note, though, I think it gives us an opportunity to educate a lot of consumers and maybe people newer to cannabis about what the corporatization of this industry really means. And I think a lot of people, you know, they don't have the years of context of doing the political stuff and all the other back end stuff that I think a lot of the people on this podcast are into. And so they might not know that some of the people they're doing business with are, for the lack of a better term, you know, scumbags, you know, trying to work against like a lot of the foundations that has built this industry to allow us to all have this opportunity to thrive. And you don't need to be like that to be successful in this industry, you know? So that's kind of in a nutshell what the show will be about. Is it'll look at different aspects of the industry and how the just rampant corporatization and just that the profit motive is just, you know, damaging kind of the soul of our industry and kind of like just shining a light on it.
Super exciting. Thanks, Chris. I've known about it for a little bit. It's a great idea. It needs to be done. And there's another podcast. Hopefully you will be hosting the next telethon with us. But I'm excited about it. And what are you going to talk about as far as like you know, do you have any ideas for guests and any special ways to hide some people's identity? What's going on?
It's definitely one of the things we've talked about is maybe like doing like the old school, like, you know, Dateline, like obscure their faces and voices, kind of give them some anonymity. That's one thing. And then just trying to get people like that you would try to get on the podcast, you know, like knowledgeable people that have a good insight. And then our job at the show would be to pick a topic or highlight a certain practice or something that we think is important that a lot of the end consumers might not ever be able to just glean the information themselves for.
Yeah, exactly what Chris was saying. Sorry, I lost internet connection for a second there, but yeah, we just want to kind of bring light to areas of the industry that the end consumer might not be aware of, and just bring light to every detail of the industry. Just everyday things that most people don't see unless you're really in the industry and really study what's going on and surround yourself with this kind of stuff. You know, for the end consumer, there's a lot that they're missing. So we want to tie the loops together for them.
It's going to be sweet. You know, there's things out there that we talk about and, you know, it's Chad stuff to do. Like, you know, say like Loom suing every municipality and everybody that doesn't give them a license. I think that'd be a good topic, you know, like all this crazy, you know, Chad and Brad stuff. And don't get me wrong. I don't know your guys' opinion, but there's some great Chads and Brads.
There's some benevolent Chads. Yeah, there's benevolent Chads. We'll talk about that on the show.
Awesome. It's gonna be entertaining. We're gonna get Kyle better internet on it as well. So
totally looking forward to that.
Yeah,
no, for sure.
Adding another podcast to the Michigan family. We keep growing. This is something I don't think you'll see in other states. We got a real cool culture here with a lot of history. So we'll be watching nationwide too. So thank you, Chris, and thank you, Kyle, and thanks for announcing it on the telethon.
Thanks very much, and thanks for the good work everybody's doing.
All right, you're welcome. Thanks, guys. And up next, we're going to have Rick Thompson talk about our good friends over at Lake Effect. And, you know, they've been around forever and have done a lot of the work. And, you know, Rick, take it away. But thank you, Lake Effect, and, you know, Jevin and Justin and everybody over there.
Yep. Thank you very much for your donation today. And today is the 6th anniversary of the founding of the Lake Effect Dispensary in Western Michigan. Just December 15th, 2021. Now let's go back 6 years. That'd be December 2015. Remember, High Times was doing cannabis cups here in Michigan, and that encouraged a lot of people who were successful caregivers to elevate their game, to actually set up retail establishments and actually compete in these cups on an even level. And in Flint, where we had a lot of these cannabis cups, you would still hear one name over and over, winning cups, placing things in edibles and in concentrates, and that's Lake Effect. And even when High Times was doing cannabis cups twice a year, the Lake Effect guys were so good, they actually elevated from contestant to judge of High Times cannabis cups. And I'm pretty sure that they hold the World Cup for offering the best concentrate in the world. So when you talk about people like that have had success prior to the regulated market, how does that translate into being good in the game now? It means that they curate the cannabis at Lake Effect much better than people that came from the fashion industry or from the home decorating industry or from the automobile industry, who might be, people in charge of management making decisions at this point. So when you talk about Lake Effect, that's one of those places that really carries history. And the individuals involved, as well as the name brand itself, really elevate Lake Effect. I mean, in the Western Michigan market, let's not forget, has not been an easy one or a fair one for many of the distribution centers. We can all think about different companies that had some success on the west side and then were not able to compete or were taken down by local law enforcement. Lake Effect was one of those rare companies that transitioned from the unregulated marketplace successfully to the regulated marketplace. And there were really not that many that were able to do so. So that helped to set an example, not just in the community itself, but also for caregivers advancing themselves throughout the system to make it legit on that side. So when you talk about Lake Effect, it really is a company that I'm proud to say that I've known for a long time. The other thing is that's also a company that's traditionally supported charities here in the state of Michigan. On the west side, they're much more active than we might see from those of us of a Southeast Michigan or a Lansing perspective. But let me tell you, Lake Effect is one of those places where if you needed something, you could knock on a door and you're probably going to get a yes, as long as what you're asking for was for a legitimate reason. I've always believed in those folks. They've expanded to several different groups. They also have delivery at Lake Effect now too. But you really have to respect folks that have been in the game that long and can come through with such a sterling reputation as Lake Effect has.
Within that group, they created a processing license, a black market, just to create a venue for caregivers to bring product to market when that was going on under the former emergency rules.
Yep. Talk about people that understand what caregivers go through because they walk that walk and talk that talk. That's exactly correct. So when you see places like that, it just makes me more enthused to be able to support them. I'm awfully glad to be able to have an opportunity today to talk a little bit about Lake Effect and the historical value that they've had. And again, just to thank them for their donation to these Redemption Foundation charities today.
Yeah, I really, I find out really through obviously through Josie and Lake Effect doesn't make a big deal about what they do and the donations, but then I just hear about the different things that they've done over the years, and Justin's done and Jevin and the whole, personally or even with the business. So man, they've really carried the torch on the west side of the state. They're board members of the MICIA. They're great stewards for the industry. So that's awesome that they donated, and Rick, that was great. And it's another store that Redemption is really proud to be in, based on their history and their roots. So bravo. Next one we'll hopefully get Jevin or Justin on as well. So with that, I wanted to welcome another special guest. We've got Paul Talinda. Paul, thanks for coming on. So for those that don't know Paul, for us that have been around, I met Paul and other Cannabis Patients United right around the time I met Michael Comorn, and Paul's handled some of the biggest east side of the state and some whole state cases that have gone on, and it's great that you're on, but then also thank you for all the work you're doing for Glenn and the Great Lakes Expungement Network. We needed help, and you've been extremely generous with your time and your payment schedule. So thank you, Paul. Why don't you
it's
tell
been a
us
pleasure.
about
It's been an honor.
yourself? Yeah, tell us about yourself, your history in Michigan cannabis, and we can go down memory lane a little bit. So
I don't know. I think I kind of got into cannabis accidentally. I was pursuing some interest in property, and I had a client that had a cannabis thing going on, and I was, certainly had the personal interest in the history, and never really thought that it would turn into what it had become. And just little by little, it flowered, to say. And it's been like the rest of us, it's been a hell of a ride from one perspective or another. We've seen, lots of ups, lots of downs. We've been through a lot, and we're all at a good point right now in this state. Whether you're young or old, new, or you've been around to the industry, or to the activities and the activism. It's been a long road, and I've had a lot of good celebrations in the victories that we've had in the medical program, the great victories we've had at the state with the recreational program, and even the advancements we've made in access, the advancement we've made in just the ease and the acceptability and the universality of cannabis now in Michigan. And there's been a lot of great moments, and I'm reminded, especially through the great work that Redemption does, and even through one of my absolute favorite groups now is Sons and Daughters United. They do, it is truly the Lord's work. It's amazing work that Josie has the wonderful idea that a lot of people need, but there's a lot of reminders that we're lucky, that we're the fortunate ones now, that we're the ones that, our time is now in the sun, and even neighboring states are not as lucky as we are. I had an unfortunate encounter with the U.S. Marshals in the past couple weeks that was a stark reminder that people still treat cannabis like a big deal, like a felony offense, like a capital offense, like big enough to arrest you and bring you down somewhere else. And that's part of the progress that we still have to make, and that's part of the endeavor that we still have to strive for on our end here. And that's, again, cannabis prisoners don't just exist near us, they exist all over, and in places where, again, they weren't different from us a few years ago. And that's, again, I applaud Redemption, and I, thinking about it through the day, and about the telethon, and about the endeavor and the organization of what you've done, Ryan, through it. It really, you can't find someone to say a bad thing about it, right? Everything that you've done in this industry, and with your gifts now, with the focus that you have on it, it's the purest and one of the best things. And I'm proud just to know you. I'm proud to be able to, call you a friend and have your number in my phone and be able to twist your ear, because, I acknowledge your greatness, and I recognize, the road that you've been down, and I've known you that, for a long time through that. And I recognize that you have absolutely turned the road that you've been down into an absolute path of gold. And I commend that, admire that, because not everybody can do that. Not everybody can do that in a situation that you face and the things that you've been through, and the way that you've turned that around, not to benefit yourself, but to benefit others, and in lifting others up. You have made yourself, that much greater in all of our eyes, and we're all here acknowledging that. I don't think anybody on the screen or watching here is going to disagree with any of that. And that, to me, is it's rare. You can't say that about people, Ryan, and I commend you, and I congratulate you, and I love the path, and I love the facts, and I love what's going on, and I wish all the best, and I wish for great change for those that struggle, in the coming year. And I'm honored. I'm humbled to be a part of it all, and I thank you for that.
And thanks, Paul. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate your support and your friendship over the years, and just thinking back about the different cases and people you represented, my friends, and all the people that have been through it, and especially whether at Macomb County or Oakland County, all our friends, and it's great. You always struck me as you're an attorney, pretty successful doing things besides cannabis, and you always did it for the right reason. And you said people aren't saying anything bad about me. I don't hear anyone say anything bad about Paul Talinda, and that's not easy for a lawyer to do, especially in Michigan cannabis.
Not cannabis for sure. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. It's humbling. It really is.
Thanks again, Paul, and thanks for really
Thank you.
thanks for doing it for us for Glenn, and we're gonna do
Great
a lot
project.
more.
It's a great project. Glenn is definitely one of the better things going on in Michigan right now. And the proof of the success of the expungement program is the fact that the state is overwhelmed by applications.
Mm-hmm. No, it's about time. It's about time. Thanks, Paul.
Great.
Next, she's not able to be on. I had the pleasure of meeting Nashanava Harvey Quinn a while back, and became involved with her with the Michigan Cannabis Freedom Coalition. And she runs the Clean Smoke Initiative out of Detroit, and it also runs Force Detroit, and just doing incredible work. And I wanted to acknowledge Nashanava and the work she's doing for us. And Marshall is going to be on next, can kind of touch on that. But the clemency work, and one of the big things that we founded, the Michigan Cannabis Freedom Coalition, it was really, this leads into our next guest, Marshall, was Redemption Foundation. It was the cannabis, it was Michigan, the Cannabis Caucus, the Cannabis Caucus of Michigan, and then also it was Last Prisoner Project, and we got a lot of help. We can hear you, Michael. There you go. Thank you. So it was also the Last Prisoner Project, and the goal was to get people out of prison that are in Michigan that are in there for marijuana. We got the list from the Attorney General Nessel. It was over 1,200 people after we fought, and we're only the second state to get a real list. So Nashanava's group is the one doing that work for us, and then also with the clemency. And she's runs Force Detroit, and she's a force to be reckoned with. So thank you, Nashanava. Unfortunately, you couldn't be on, but we'll talk to you soon. So next guest leading into that is Marshall. Marshall, I'm afraid that I'm going to screw up your last name, so you're going to do it for me. But I've gotten to know Marshall with obviously the Michigan Freedom Coalition. He's also with the Michael Thompson project, what's going on with that, and just really is an incredible worker, and does it for out of the good. So I'm glad you're involved in cannabis policy reform in Michigan, Marshall. We're a lot better to have you.
Hey, appreciate it, Ryan, and Redemption team for having me here tonight. It's first off, it's always a privilege being next to Force Detroit. They're doing revolutionary work in the city of Detroit. Ilea and Najanava Harvey Quinn, sisters, running the show. They're doing it with Zoe Kennedy. Headed down there Friday to work on a transition plan for MCFC. So honored to be working in the space. They chair the reentry committee for the coalition. So, they're vital partners, and they're doing great work in Detroit and beyond. So thank you to them. So my name is Marshall Clabeau. I'm a Lansing resident, medical marijuana patient, love cannabis, organic grower. I would love to grow, big scale, but, things happen one way or another. And but now we're working to free cannabis prisoners with the Michigan Cannabis Freedom Coalition. And like Ryan mentioned, the work has grown over the last year and a half from very informal meetings just between a handful of us, not even a coalition at that point, working to free cannabis prisoners. And it's really grown to be quite an impressive and fun coalition. We meet every Monday at 6 p.m. Everyone's welcome. It's a very open format, Robert's Rules of Order. We got a long ways to go. We've been able to free 5 people with the resources of the cannabis community, doing the work, paying for reentry, helping families. We approved this week Christmas presents for one of our families, Maurice Shoemate. He'll be hopefully free soon. He had his parole hearing a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. There's more work that needs to be done. We're at capacity where we need the more prisoners we talk to, the more we can help get out. We have the list. So the work's there to do. I'm really happy with the policy work of our coalition as well. Shout out to Jamie Lowell, Rockstar, killing space. We've had real consistent policy meetings, and it seems like we're going to get a deschedule bill here. The coalition has three priorities as a coalition. First one is descheduling. We know that's the root of a lot of the injustice. Number two is expanding the expungement. We've highlighted the great work of Glenn. That's amazing. And, Josie killing it. That was a fun 10 minutes that she was on. She could talk for an hour and I'd be there. But there's more work in the expungement space. There's a lot of cannabis crimes that aren't expungible, and every cannabis crime should be expungible. It should never have been a crime. And so it should be automatic. And so, all these things are being fought for and still need to be fought for. And then the third priority is the prison food. It's atrocious. We have cannabis prisoners. We have 40,000 prisoners in general that are not being fed humanely. So that's got to change. Through the Michael Thompson Clemency Project, that's one of the things we're fighting for. So for those that don't know Michael's story, I'm sure most do, but there's a lot that don't. And so he was the longest serving nonviolent offender in state of Michigan history, selling cannabis in the 90s. Got locked up for a 40 to 60 year sentence, basically a death sentence as a 50-year-old man. He's free now, and he's doing good work in prison reform space. So, proud to be, at this event. I've been watching the whole thing, and it's been a great, 2 hours. It's really been a lot of fun. So, thanks Redemption and Ryan and everyone doing the work.
Thank you, Marshall. What brought you? When did you decide to get involved with the Cannabis Caucus in Michigan? And we got to give a shout out, of course, to Mike McCurdy as well here. Does great work and has really pushed things along. So how'd you meet Mike, and how'd you get involved with that?
Oh yeah, Mike and I's relationship goes back further than the Cannabis Caucus, but he's a legend. Definitely shout out to Mike. Appreciate his leadership in all the spaces that we operate in. Just doing another political thing with him at the same time as this. But I got involved with cannabis. I was collecting signatures, when we were trying to get on the ballot. Our house was a delegate hub, so people were dropping off their signatures. We were sending crews out canvassing. So that was kind of, I've been in the cannabis industry as a worker, delivery driver. I can say that now. I'm not doing it, but a grower, and I've been in the space. I love the plant. It's a medicine to me. And I was at the beginning of the Cannabis Caucus. It was my friends and I that were there. Dana Nestle's campaign. We launched the Cannabis Caucus. Jillian, I think was the first chair. Steve and Nikki Motzi. Shout out to them. They're, held it down for the Cannabis Caucus and took a little time away. I had to step away after Trump's election. I got too burnt out. I had to step away from politics for 6 months or so, and to a year. Just got killed. Got pneumonia, and I walked like 500 miles for that shit, and it was bullshit. But I don't know. That's my political involvement, man. So, I met Mike through doing co-op maintenance.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. And I feel like we're just getting started. And thank you for all the extra work to keep the Freedom Coalition going. And I'm looking forward to doing a lot more work with that and supporting it in 2022. So thank you, Marshall.
Appreciate that, Ryan. No doubt. Appreciate your office space. That's been a good headspace for me. And the coalition's rocking. I think we're going to have a real successful 2022 as Whitmer. It's a campaign year. She's got a lot of campaign promises that aren't fulfilled. There's cannabis prisoners today. We know their names. We know their stories. And so she's got to free them.
That's right. Thanks, Marshall. Up next, my buddy Ingo Osland over at Novo, and Ingo, thanks for squeezing this one in. And actually met Ingo back in the early years in 2010. We're at the dispensary, and I know Ingo goes way back in the caregiver days and is now in charge of Nobo, Michigan. So congrats, and tell us about yourself.
Oh, I just represent a team of people that are very humbled to have the opportunity to be in commercial cannabis and support a great foundation like Redemption.
Thank you, Ingo. I really appreciate I've known about Nobo for a while and watched it grow and saw you get involved and have seen the changes and excited to be doing a lot more work with you. Just tell us about Nobo, Michigan.
So Nobo is a fully integrated company. We have a lovely cultivation facility in Benton Harbor, Michigan. We also have 4 dispensaries in Edwardsburg, Muskegon, Benton Harbor, and also Battle Creek. We price our flower appropriately based on the quality and the experience of the flower versus the market value. A lot of times there's a lot of price gouging and disassociation with value versus what provision centers can get. And the agreement that you and I have and Nobo has is that our passion for the flower goes beyond the greed that takes place necessarily. So then it's also just a privilege to support Redemption truly with growing marijuana and selling it together and taking the profits out of that and supporting the Redemption Foundations and our social equity programs.
Thank you. And actually, that is one of the things some of the guys here on the panel obviously have, and then with True and with Tom as well. But working with Redemption is Nobo's social equity plan, and I'm proud of that, and I want to continue to do that because you can see we've done a lot of work. You guys are headquartered in Benton Harbor, and I think it's cool that you guys are down there. I know you guys have had to earn the trust of the community, and I think you've done that. Tell us a little bit about what it's like being in Benton Harbor and what you're planning on doing for them.
Well, it's a wonderful opportunity because we can see the change right in front of our eyes with the Benton Harbor community, with more restaurants, more businesses taking place in the downtown area. Next summer is going to be a totally different environment with more division centers coming online. We welcome the competition. An area of Southwest Michigan is in need of more dispensaries, actually kind of different what the rest of the state is feeling, but it's a really good atmosphere to be in. It provides jobs for the community. First and foremost point that we have is to provide jobs for local Benton Harbor residents. We've fulfilled that promise. Incentives of tax bases, and it's very difficult in the commercial cannabis field to maintain, and also for now and for the future. So it's just very important that we are part of the community and we do support the social equity program. So the city of Benton Harbor holds us to that, and we just feel humbled to provide that opportunity.
That's great. I've been talking with your team and Josie Scoggin, who's a big part of all our foundations. She's from Benton Harbor and a big in the community and loves the town and loves the city. So we're going to be doing something really cool in February in Benton Harbor Nobo. So be on the lookout for that, and it's all to benefit the community, and it's also going to be Black History Month. So I think it's cool that people from St. Joe now are driving into Benton Harbor to shop, because they that's not usually the case. And that's nice to get that money in the community. Tell us a little bit. You could have you didn't have to take the job that you did. I know that you were living a pretty what I think a happy lifestyle, and but there's guys out there and women like you that have the skill set to grow, that are caregivers, and some people decide to take that jump and others don't. What made you decide to do it, and what it's been like?
I think that a lot of caregivers and cultivators have a passion inside themselves. If they don't compete with themselves, they're competing with others. So when you're on the commercial level like this, it's the ultimate form of competition that you can present your team's work, not only in your stores, but also in other people's stores. And really, it's just the experience that people have with your flowers, essentially your rapport and the reputation that you get. We're building a quality reputation for our flower, and that's what we stand behind. It's our foundation. We don't try to weave off of that. We continue to master our craft. Just feel humbled to keep getting better at it, to work with tissue culture labs, to work with yourself and co-brand, to stay cutting edge, stay away from pesticides, all the different types of, like the gentleman that was on before talked about being organic. It's very difficult at the commercial level to stay as close to organic as you possibly can. It brings in tedious amounts of work and cleaning and all the different testing formats that's provided. Very proud with working with Cambion, Analytica, and passing all of our tests, true tests, 2 THC tests, microbial tests. We've never been involved in any type of recalls or anything like that. It's just a wonderful thing that when you provide for patients on the caregiver level, you don't have to test your marijuana. So now to be able to test our flower and see the results and see our levels extremely high with Delta 8s, Delta 9, CBN, CBGs, THCA, so many different variants that are so healthy for you, and you get that full spectrum effect. We also carry CO2 full spectrum oils also, which give you a wonderful edible quality with our gummies, and they're just excellent. So if you're looking for that full spectrum, our flower and our edibles and our concentrates provide you with that.
That's awesome, Ingo. I appreciate it, and thanks for coming on, and thanks for the donation, and looking forward to the new year with you.
Thank you. God bless you.
All right. And our final guest, surprise guest, really the biggest, activist and name ever in Michigan in marijuana. We're really humbled and honored that he's here, and we've got John Sinclair. So thank you for taking the time, John.
My pleasure.
Well, thanks. Well, we got Jamie is here with the Redemption.
Hey, John.
Jamie.
Jamie, you're one of the board members of the John Sinclair Foundation. Why don't you take it away and tell us what's going on, and ask John, any questions?
Yeah, well, we just, of note, we just recently celebrated the 50th anniversary of the John Sinclair Freedom Rally, where John Lennon and Stevie Wonder, other notables, got 15,000 people to gather at Chrysler Arena to let the world know about this. And 3 days later, John Sinclair was let out of prison.
See that?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
All right, keep going.
And John, we're doing this telethon tonight. We're raising a lot of money for a lot of good charity. Yeah, do a lot of great work.
I wanted to be here. I like this.
Right
I
on.
wanted to be part of it.
We talk about podcasts and things like that. John Sinclair has an extremely long-running program called Radio Free Amsterdam. John, tell people how many episodes you've got in the can of that show.
943.
I remember telling him about Jazz Cabbage probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And he's like, yeah, good idea. I've been doing that since like 2004.
Right.
2004, yeah. When I started.
Exactly. And of course, you've been an icon here for the cannabis industry, not just in the United States, but abroad too. And that's really helped to push legalization efforts and medical marijuana efforts in other states, because your story was just so tragic. When you reflect back on how things have been over the last 50 years, what's the most important thing to you? I mean, is it brotherhood, togetherness? What do you think?
Of what now?
The most important thing that's driven change over the last 50 years.
Well, people wanted to change the law.
Yeah.
That was
the
it.
law was so disgusting.
It made enough sense to enough people, and you demonstrated that.
We had to change it.
Yeah.
For those who may not know, John Sinclair was given a sentence of 10 years for the possession of 2 cannabis joints.
Passing 2 joints to an undercover cop.
Exactly right. So that's one of the reasons why it was so famous worldwide and drew the attention of not just famous entertainers, but also big name attorneys that worked on your case on your behalf, John, right?
Yeah. Justin C. Rabbits. Kenneth B. Cockrell. U.M. Buck Davis Jr.
Hey John,
Yeah.
this is Kevin. This is Kevin Pybus over at True Cannabis. It's a pleasure to meet a cannabis legend like yourself. I remember in Colorado, I'm a big genetics guy, and I remember seeing the John Sinclair seeds out there. And then to finally hear about you here in Michigan and to know of you, it's an honor to meet a legend like yourself. In your years of political fighting, what is the biggest change you've seen, and how has it been seeing the progress in marijuana legislation in your lifetime?
Well, it's too slow. But other than that, it's fine. All this should have happened in the 70s.
Right.
Yeah.
But now it's legal. So
Yeah,
that's
well,
the best thing that's happened.
all your work back then is what sparked this movement. And I'm just really glad that in your lifetime you've been able to see this progress this far. And like I said, it's just an honor having you on the show and getting a chance to meet you.
Well, I really appreciate what y'all are doing. It's a great thing.
Thank you.
Well, they say Ryan Bassor is about the closest to me as anybody I've met in this movement. So he went to prison and he came out wanting to do something to change things. And he's made great strides.
Right on.
Good job. Yeah.
Thank you, John. And it means a lot. We'll see you soon, and I'll ride down with Boogie Bob and hang out for a little bit. So, man, I really appreciate you coming on and wanting to be on, and hope you're recovering from the foot surgery and
Foot surgery, yeah, it's killing me.
yeah. Thanks again. We're gonna wrap up with final thoughts for everyone, and then we're gonna close it. Thank you, John. First off, let's start reverse order. Ida, Pearl Lee, thanks for coming on, and any final thoughts?
It's the passion. It's the passion that everyone is expressing and wanting to give back and wanting to help others. And it's so neat to be a part of it. And I'm so honored. And I love to see other people helping other people.
Thank you, Ida, and thanks for being on and represent the MICA, and looking forward to the winter gala tomorrow night. It's going to be great to see everybody there and see you there as well.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom, over at Real Leaf.
Hey, thanks for having me here, man. It's been a good time, as always, raising awareness and bringing people together for good things, because cannabis can change things and change lives and can save the world, and if we believe it can, and we can do it. And, coming together and making stuff happen is, what we need to do, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tom. Kevin.
Of the fundraiser today, and then also the Redemption Foundation. We've talked about it a little bit in the past, but what we're doing right now with the marijuana movement, it's a people movement. It's stuff that's grassroots, and I think we're laying the framework for the potential of change by the people, across the whole legal system. Right now, nobody's ever done what we've done, and I think it's really cool that we're laying this groundwork to potentially change some other things and right the wrongs of the past of other issues that we're having in this country. So it's been a great time, Ryan. I appreciate you including me in all this stuff, and all of you guys. I appreciate you guys as my friend and my family. So thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Jamie.
Hey, yeah, and again, I appreciate being on with everybody tonight too. I also enjoyed hearing more about a lot of the contributors to tonight's telethon that I haven't really met yet. I look forward to meeting some of those people and companies as well. And again, everybody can rest assured that this money is going to go to help a lot of people, and these organizations that it's benefiting have already demonstrated themselves for a while now. it's very profound. These people who contributed should feel very good about the outcome here, and also thanks a lot, Ryan and Redemption, for putting this all together. It was a great time hanging out tonight. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Rick.
Part of the reasons why an event is successful is because it has a successful launch. I think we can look at this charity event and definitely consider it a successful launch, and in success on many different levels, not just the amount of money raised, but by far, obviously, that's a big success. The number of people reached, I think that's also a big success too, but by relationships built. Once you know that there are people out there that are willing to step out of the norm, step out of the regular role and take on more of a charity function, or give to something like this, or believe in someone like Ryan Basar, that just builds continued unity. And as I mentioned before, a lot of these people that were on tonight will be at the MICIA event tomorrow night too. And I think if you are of a like mind too, and you're watching this broadcast, and if you have any kind of a business at all, you should consider joining, simply because that's where the real people live, is that organization. So thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks, everybody. Also want to thank, Nate Darlin, Director of Marketing over Redemption. This was his idea. And I don't think it could have gone any better, whether it be raising money, normally, that's something I've been, something I've just done. And this time, Nate, along with Josie and also Erica with Redemption, raised a lot of the money, and gave great support. So couldn't be happier. I think we're up to about 23,000. It's going to go to a great cause. Get the next one, for those that missed out, we did run out of slots, and that's pretty cool. And thanks for that means a lot, all the support. And we are going to do one. The next one's going to be for 420, so we'll be back, and we'll be planning it ahead. So get ready for it. We'll step up our game. So with that, thank you, everybody. What a night. Appreciate it.
Thank